Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion, and in this video I'll be previewing tomorrow's World Cup clash between India and Pakistan. Starting off with India, 2 dominant wins for them thus far, and regarding the 11 I think they should go with, I don't think Shubman Gill will be available for this game despite the fact that he recently went through a 1-hour net session, and the nature of the disease that he's got, even though it's said that he is recovering, it's a disease that drains you, and it was announced I think 7 or 8 days ago that he'd missed the first game against Australia, and because of that I don't think he will be available against Pakistan tomorrow. However, I've compiled 2 11s, one without him in the side and another one with him in it. So I've got Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul to open the batting with Virat Kohli at 3 and Shreyas Iyer at 4, Ishan Kishan 5, Hardik Pandya 6, Ravindra Jadeja at number 7, Ravichandran Ashwin at 8, Kuldeep Yadav 9, Jasprit Bumrah at 10, Mohammad Shami 11. You could bat Shami a bit higher if you wanted to. And starting from the top, in my video previewing the Australia game, I said KL Rahul should open ahead of Ishan Kishan. In the Delhi game, or in the game against Afghanistan in Delhi, I said Ishan Kishan opening would be the right decision. But in this case, I'd go back to saying KL Rahul should open against Pakistan. The reason why I'm saying that is because in Ahmedabad you get some assistance for the seamers, especially up front, and is a combination of Shaheen Shah, Afridi and Hassan Ali as threatening as facing a Mitchell Starc and a Pat Cummins, who I think should take the new ball for Australia ahead of Josh Hazlewood. No, it isn't. And having said that, Shaheen Shah, Afridi in these conditions will be a handful. We haven't seen the best of him in this tournament with the 2 games Pakistan have played, but bowling against India he will have his tail up. And to deal with the threat that he possesses, a KL Rahul who can bat anywhere in the top 5 and has got the skill set to open the batting and see off the new ball. We've seen him open in Test cricket as well. I think he'd be the right player to open alongside Rohit Sharma. And I think Ishan Kishan would benefit at 5 simply because in terms of the spinners Pakistan have got, you've got Mohammad Nawaz, the left arm finger spinner, Shadab Khan, the right arm wrist spinner. More often than not, the ball turning into the left-hander. And secondly, both those two haven't been bowling as well as they could be. So I think Ishan Kishan will fancy his chances at number 5. And we saw what he did against Pakistan, the first out of the 2 games that were played between them in the Asia Cup recently. And then I've gone with Ravichandran Ashwin at number 8. Now, I know they will play Shardul Thakur, but I'll say again, when you've got someone with the prowess of Ravichandran Ashwin where he can adapt to any surface, and I'll say this again, in Delhi everyone's thought, oh, is it a flat track, how many runs will be considered? I'll say this again, you saw Keshav Maharaj go okay in the second innings when South Africa scored 429, considering Sri Lanka were trying to attack everyone. 2 for 62 and 10 isn't such a bad thing. Mitchell Santner would have done well in Delhi, and Ravichandran Ashwin would have done well in Delhi against Afghanistan. They would not have conceded that many runs. And I'd said before, yes, Jadeja and Kuldeep went at less than 5 and over, but you thought, especially when you watched Jadeja bowling, did you get the impression that he knew how to bowl on the surface? No, you didn't, and that's why he wasn't as threatening. Whereas Ashwin certainly would have got the measure of how to bowl on the surface, and maybe the runs that India conceded would have been slightly less. And I know they will play Shardul Thakur, but the reason why I've gone with Ashwin is because if Pakistan get through the first 10 overs relatively unscathed, you've got Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav as the 2 spinners. Now Jadeja is more of a defensive option, Kuldeep Yadav is more of an attacking option. If they are able to get the runs off Kuldeep Yadav, is Jadeja going to be able to attack? I don't think you're going to look to Jadeja to do the job that Kuldeep Yadav would do. And India may be in a bit of trouble there. And that's the reason why there's a misconception around Ravichandran Ashwin that he's more of a defensive bowler. He has both gears. And that's why I've got him as a 3rd spinner alongside Jadeja and Kuldeep. And with Hardik Pandya being the enforcer in the middle overs as well, the middle overs are well set for India there. And if Pakistan get past the excellence of Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami with a new ball, you've got those 4 a very, very good option in the middle overs to stifle them. And that's why I got Ashwin there. And now Mohammad Shami ahead of Mohammad Siraj. And we saw in the previous game, Mohammad Siraj went for 76 in his 9. And I've said this before, he's got a bit of a temper. And if you get through him with a new ball, he tries that bit harder. And you saw against Afghanistan, he went for runs throughout his 9 overs. And if that happens in this case, and if you don't play Ashwin, you've got Mohammad Siraj, if he goes for runs with the new ball, that won't stop throughout his quota. without Ashwin, if they get the runs off Kuldeep Yadav, then will Jadeja be able to perform that same attacking role? I don't think he will. Hardik Pandya will then have to be the guy in the middle overs, and then it will kind of be all down to him. So apart from, I think, Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya, then Pakistan may not struggle that much and they may get a decent score. That's why Ashwin, as the bowler with both gears under the offensive gear and the defensive gear, and Mohammad Shami in the IPL at this venue has made the ball talk. And when you're dealing with the current version of Siraj and Mohammad Shami, you're dealing with new ball excellence in both cases. But Mohammad Shami, like I said, without Bumrah returning into the fold, I think he's been the best fast bowler in the world in the last couple of years. And that's why him bowling in Ahmedabad, where he makes the ball talk, isn't such a bad thing at all. So I've got him and Jasprit Bumrah to be the opening bowling combination. And unlike Siraj, if he does go for runs up front, it's not a case where he'll get angry and try to maybe strive that bit harder throughout the rest of his quota. I think you'll have more of a chance for him to still come back after going for runs at the start. Whereas for Mohammad Siraj, if he goes for runs at the start, then that may continue and probably will continue throughout his quota. So that's why I've gone with Shami. If Shubman Gill was to be available for this game, he would be opening the batting alongside Rohit Sharma with KL Rahul batting at 5. Now, in other venues, I've said that you should look to maximise the first 25 overs and then afterwards it would get tougher to score in the latter half of the innings. Whereas in this case, you should set things up for the first 25, getting to about 125 to 130 for 2 and then look to go from there with wickets in hand. And looking at this first choice lineup, you've got a top 7 that have all got double gears. And in terms of assurance up front, Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill would provide assurance that KL Rahul would play with double gears at 5, where even if India lose a couple of wickets, you wouldn't mind Rahul walking out at all. And especially if they play Ashwin instead of Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Shami ahead of Mohammad Siraj, looking at this first choice 11, this would be the best side they could select going into this game and throughout the tournament as well. And India would be prepared for any situation. And even on the death bowling, if it does get to the stage where the opposition is looking to capitalise, you'd rather Mohammad Shami bowl at the death than Mohammad Siraj, where even before that he would have gotten a lot of runs, since, like I said, he's got a bit of a temper, and when he goes for runs up front, it translates throughout the entirety of his quota. So the important thing for India is, if Shubman Gill isn't available, open with KL Rahul and Ishan Kishan at 5. I know Shardul Thakur will play, but I'll always say play Ashwin at number 8, and you've got the 3 spinners where Jadeja being defensive, Kuldeep being attacking, and Ashwin, that player with both gears, and Mohammad Shami ahead of Mohammad Siraj in this game. And even if Shubman Gill isn't available, if India get things right around that, then they'll be best placed to win this game. And on Pakistan, we saw what they did in the second innings of their previous game, where they now hold the record for the highest successful chase in the men's ODI World Cup. And regarding the 11, I think they should go with Imam ul-Haq and Abdullah Shafiq to open the batting, with Babar Azam at 3 and Mohammad Rizwan at 4, Saud Shakil at 5, Iftikhar Ahmed at 6, Mohammad Nawaz 7, Shadab Khan at 8, Shaheen Shah Afridi at 9, Hassan Ali 10 and Haris Rauf at 11. So the same 11 they went with against Sri Lanka. And starting off from the top, after the 78 that he scored against Bangladesh, Imam ul-Haq hasn't scored as many runs as he would have liked. He's not out of form by any means in my view, and at times when he's got out in the teens, he's got out after looking good. He's averaging 50 in this format, and with what I've said quite a few times now, where the top 4 in this part of the woman batting in this format should look to set things up for the others to follow, you can back him to do that more often than not. And backing him is different than backing a Fakhar Zaman, where even when the latter is playing well, he's not consistent. I've mentioned what I'm going to mention now a few times as well, where a few teams are tending to send one stroke player out with a more measured opener in this tournament. I don't know why Mitchell Marsh is still opening for Australia. I'd said Liton Das should bat at 5 for Bangladesh. He played well against England, and what did we see against New Zealand today? The first ball he faces plays that shot and is dismissed. So in this case, if you got Imam ul-Haq to open the batting, I think he provides that assured option. He's measured in his approach, and with the ball moving around and when Bumrah and Shami or Siraj are bowling at this venue, then I think you need Imam ul-Haq to weather the storm. So I think I back him to come get at the top of the order. And on Abdullah Shafiq, before he scored that century, I actually had Saud Shakil to open the batting and Agha Salman at 5. And I still think they should go with that 11 when it's the venue is veering towards being a batting friendly venue. But for this game, Abdullah Shafiq, with the way he goes about things, I think him and Imam Al-Haq can weather the storm. A very good century in the previous game, which would give him confidence going into this one. And I think even though I think for a few games Saud Shakil should open the batting and Agha Salman should bat at 5, I think in this case they'd benefit from both some solid openers playing together. And Babar Azam at 3, yes, he hasn't done much in the first 2 games, but you'd back him to come good eventually. And Mohammad Rizwan, he's been in very good form of late. Saud Shakil batting at 5. Now, even though, yes, unlike the Evan that I suggested, he would be batting at 5 here. He's batting in the middle order for most of his career thus far. I think against India, you've got Imam Al-Haq and Abdullah Shafiq to weather the storm early on. And against, if Ashwin plays, I don't think he will. Even if Ashwin plays, you've got Saud Shakil, who's the best player of spin in Pakistan. You've got him to face those 3 spinners in Ashwin, Kuldeep and Jadeja. Iftikhar Ahmed's also got double gears at number 6, and you've got a case where Imam Al-Haq and Abdullah Shafiq and maybe Babar Azam can set things up as far as the top 3 goes. Mohammad Rizwan, his boundary percentage in terms of runs scored has actually been less than half, but how he achieves that striker is because of how well he runs between the wickets. Saud Shakil, the best player of spin in Pakistan at 5. Iftikhar Ahmed, ever since, I've said this before, ever since the 20-run over that he scored against Akshar Patel, I think in the T20 World Cup, he's now become a mainstay for this Pakistan side. So looking at that top 6, you've got quite some decent assurance there. On the bowling, the blueprint of this Pakistan side in this format is that if they're bowling first, the seamers look to blast the batting side out early on. If a couple of wickets fall, Shadab Khan revels on the pressure that's created on the batting side and then he goes well. Mohammad Nawaz bowls as a defensive spinner alongside him, and Haris Rauf bowls as quick deliveries as well. In a close to a worst case scenario, the innings meanders along and Pakistan reclaim their stronghold at the death where they bowl the opposition out for around that 260 score, and with the way their batsmen like to play, they chase that score down in no hurry. When Pakistan are batting first, they score around that 285 and then the opposition crumbles considering the chasing pressure as well, and the fact that the seamers look to once again blast the opposition out from the get-go, and you've got in the middle over Shadab Khan to revel in the pressure that's created. Now, if you're considering the new bowling, Shaheen Shah Afridi is a fantastic option. But in terms of, I think the absence of Naseem Shah does make this the threat up front slightly weaker. Hassan Ali's taken the wickets in this tournament thus far, but I feel in terms of him applying the pressure that a Naseem Shah would apply up front alongside Shaheen Afridi, especially if Rohit Sharma, the current version of Rohit Sharma tries to go a bit aggressively up front, and I think he may take his opportunities against Hassan Ali. So if he does go for runs, I think the onus will be on Shaheen Afridi to get the breakthroughs, and since you've only got one bowler in the first 10 overs who's looking to really do the attacking that Pakistan had both the bowlers doing, you've got a Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz not bowling as well as they could be bowling. Haris Rauf at times could be expensive or could pick up a wicket or 2 and go for 50 odd runs. And even against Sri Lanka, he was expensive. I think he'll enjoy bowling on this surface more. We've seen recently against India. India have been up for the challenge of playing Haris Rauf. So in a worst case scenario, you could have a case where Shaheen Shah Afridi is your only bankable outlet. And like I said, if this Pakistan side can't put the pressure early on, then with the case with the spinners also not bowling as well as they could be, they may struggle to contain this Indian batting. So that is something they'll have to watch out for. A positive for Pakistan is that despite the circumstances involved in their chase against Sri Lanka in the previous game, and I'm not taking any credit away from Pakistan for this, but I may even include the Netherlands in this to say every side apart from Sri Lanka in this competition would have given Pakistan a tough run in that chase. I mean, especially with someone like Atiq Shan on the side and not using him properly as well and getting things so wrong in the innings. Credit to Pakistan for capitalizing that on that, of course, especially since this side has notoriously not been a great chasing side. And despite the circumstances involved in that chase, I think Pakistan will be taking a lot of confidence from that and looking at this top 6 and even top 8, because Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan, it's a luxury to have them batting at 7 and 8. I think they've got double gears, especially Mohammad Nawaz. And it's a case where they could even, Shadab Khan's batted at 3 or 4 in T20 sides, Mohammad Nawaz can bat at 5 or 6 in T20 side. You've got those players at 8, I think it bodes well for you. Shaheen Shah Afridi scored a 50 in the PSL, Hassan Ali can swing his bat as well. So the batting looks, I think, much more assured than what it has done before this time. And especially since they're not playing on a slower surface like in Colombo, where, especially since the side struggles to chase above 280, the moment the score went above 300, that game was done. In terms of who I thought was going to win in that game, I thought when playing in Colombo, India would win. I was going to say 9 times out of 10. I'd maybe increase that to 9.5 times out of 10. But for Pakistan, I think they would enjoy playing in these conditions more with the movement up front for the seamers and also the fact that they're batting. You can back them to go better in this surface than on a slower track where even their mainstays do struggle. So the batting does look more assured than their bowling going into this contest, and especially if Pakistan win the toss and choose to bat first, which both sides should look to do, it would bode well for them simply because even if India lose the toss and have to bowl, with the form that their attack has been in, I think they'll be able to compete in the game more even if they have to bowl first. For Pakistan, if India bat first in an attack that you don't know what's going to happen on the day, if someone like Rohit Sharma gets to the start that he got off to against Afghanistan, it'll be tougher to get off to that start against someone like a Shaheen Afridi. But if he does, then India could get a 300 score and it'd be tough for Pakistan to chase. So comparing these sides, starting off with the top 4, you've got Imam ul Haq, Abdullah Shafiq, Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan against Rohit Sharma. And if Ishan Kishan opens, then him, Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer. Purely in terms of solidity, Pakistan have got a more solid top 4 there. However, if KL Rahul opens instead of Ishan Kishan, you've got Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli to cancel out Imam ul Haq, Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan. And it's between Abdullah Shafiq and Shreyas Iyer. So honestly, it could be equal. Number 5, you got Saud Shakil versus Ishan Kishan. Now both those, I think Saud Shakil, the best player spin in Pakistan, and Ishan Kishan, you've got him facing a Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan, who haven't been bowling as well as they could be. So I think you'll fancy taking them on. So both of them could have a decent, an impact on the game. Hardik Pandya at 6 over Iftikhar Ahmed. Jadeja hasn't been in the best of batting form, but you still back him to play vital contributions here and there. Mohammad Nawaz has been better with the bat, so you've got him at 7 there. And Ashwin is quite a good number 8, but I think it's a luxury for any side to have Shadab Khan at 8. And so I don't think I think India have got a very good number 8. They're just that no other side really has got as good of a number 8 as Shadab Khan is. I think the area where India do have the edge is their bowling on form. I think it's much better. It's going much better than how Pakistan's bowling has been going. And yes, in terms of solidity, the Pakistan batting lineup looks more solid than this Indian lineup. But despite the fact that the latter like to take more liberties, what they'll be facing has a chance to not go as well as the Indian attack have gone, especially off late. So if Pakistan have to bowl first and don't get it right to this Indian batting lineup, then you could see a 300 score being posted. And even if Pakistan bat first, you think with this Indian side, they will have to be at the top of their game to post 285 or so. And I repeat, that will be enough. England bowled terribly in their second innings against New Zealand, and that's why they gave those runs. Both these two sides, whoever bats first, shouldn't be thinking we have to get 310, 320. If they get 285 to 300, it'll be a difficult chase for the side batting second. And overall, I think India have more wiggle room in terms of whether they bowl first or bat first, they can compete. But if Pakistan bat first, there's no reason why they can't do something from their side. But overall, because of the bowling India's got and how well their batting still has been going overall in the past, I've still got India to win this game, but let's see how this goes. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?